Good morning, guys. Would you guys like to learn about Ninjago? Lord Chen is unintentionally the greatest villain in Ninjago. Maybe of all time. I'm not 100%. That'd be a different video. It's because of two events, okay, guys? One, Wu's letter, and two, the Serpentine War. So the first thing that happened was that Lord Chen stole a letter that Wu wrote for Misago. Misago fell in love with Garmadon because of this letter that he gave to Garmadon, which is why he bagged Misago, which is why Lloyd was born. So without the letter, Lloyd wouldn't have been born. It would have been like Wu Jr. Then what happened is he also caused the Serpentine War. The Serpentine and humans were like, oh yeah, let's be chill, let's not war and shit. And Lord Chen went to each of them and was like, yo, by the way, the other people are gonna betray you. You gotta mess them up before they mess you up. You heard? And then Serpentine War caused all the generals to get sent to the Ghost Realm. I forgot what it was called. Spirit Realm? Probably Spirit Realm. And all of the Serpentine to get locked up in tombs. Any questions so far? So, Lloyd freed the Serpentine. So without Lloyd, the Serpentine wouldn't be free. Without Lord Chen, no Lloyd. Without Lord Chen, the Serpentine wouldn't have been trapped in the first place. And he freed Pythor, because he was being a little rapscallion, you know, running amok. And then he rose the Great Devourer, who was a big old snake, who was going to devour the world until the ninja came in and saved the day. So far, just to recap what we've been doing, this is the whole timeline. So there's Lord Chen. He caused the letter with Garmadon, which caused Misago and him to have a child named Lloyd. Not directly, I don't know if he told him to have a kid, but maybe that was just like in the subscripts. He also caused the Serpentine War, which got rid of these snakes and caused them to get trapped, which caused Pythor to be the sole survivor because he ate all of them, probably because of his long neck. And then that caused the Great Devourer, which Lloyd also defeated, which is why they're connected. Are you tracking, Wana?
Also, because the Great Devourer died, the Stone Warriors were also able to be revived.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, Wana. Because the Great Devourer caused the Stone Army to get revived, but not only that, the Serpentines were the one who freed the Stone Army. So if the Serpentine weren't all humans, then they wouldn't have freed the Stone Warriors. So if neither event happened, neither of the... And then Lloyd became the Gold Ninja and defeated this evil guy. He's the Overlord, and he's evil. Like, say Lord Chen didn't exist, that line wouldn't have happened because Lloyd wouldn't exist, and that line would have happened because Lloyd wouldn't have, well, because the Serpentine wouldn't be all grouchy and there wouldn't be the Great Devourer who led a Stone Army. So it would be like Lloyd be the Overlord plus the 4 ninjas, because there wouldn't be no Stone Warriors running amok. Okay, the timeline goes from 2 directions this time, so it might get confusing, but Pythor gets swallowed by the Great Devourer, so he becomes White Pythor. Doesn't really change anything, it's just a distinction. Well, he was bleached. I mean, like, in the context of this, it doesn't change anything from that. And the Overlord becomes a Techie Overlord because they make new Ninjago, but he gets defeated. So then he would be screwed, but then Pythor saves him. So that's another timeline where all the Snake Serpentine stuff led to the Lord Chen games, because Zane sacrificed himself. Somehow Lord Chen stole them. Have zero clue how the fuck that happened, but it happened. And good job, Zane, for saving the day. Say it with me. Good job, Zane, for saving the day. You should pick up the mics, because currently they're just on the floor. Now we got a little bit of a bigger timeline, alright? So, we've gone past all this stuff with Lloyd's Born, Great Devourer, the Overlord, how none of this would have happened, none of this would have happened. And it all stems from my beloved Lord Chen. Thank you, Lord Chen, for Ninjago. Next, this is the actual season that he was a part of, season 4, the Tournament of Elements. Because of the Zane event where he sacrificed himself, he was able to steal Zane, which was able to invite the ninjas to the tournament because he needed their elements to become one of the Serpentine. So, which he did. He did become one of the Serpentine, which was cool for him. And there's also Klaus, which will have more relation later, but he does have relation to Klaus. He is his pupil, like how Garmadon was his pupil. But since Garmadon isn't his pupil anymore, he's like the main guy now. They became Anachondri. That's what it was, Anachondri. And being Anachondri, they got taken out by the Ghost Generals, which I don't have an arrow here, which I may have forgot, but I will add it in post maybe. They caused the Ghost Realm to get open because they got all sent to the Ghost Realm, them little cheeky buggers, and they got sent away, which caused Moro to come. So he wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for their tomfoolery. Also, the next season, the Genie season, wouldn't have happened if Ghost Klaus didn't get free of the Ghost Realm and summon the Genie. So without Lord Chen's influence on his devious pupil, there would be no Genie. Currently, this is where we stand on the board. I could probably have put an arrow from this one down to there, but I didn't. This is the whole timeline of events and how they connect, and not one single one of these events would happen without it, except for the Time Blades, which has really no correlation to Lord Chen, and the first kind of episode thing that they had where they fought the skeleton stuff.
Isn't the Time Blades tied to the first Serpentine War? Because the Time
They
Blades...
did fight in the Serpentine War, but it doesn't particularly state that was, like, they didn't become, like, evil guys because of the Serpentine War. But, other things I would state is, let's just hypothetically say one of these events didn't happen. So, the letter doesn't happen, Lloyd doesn't exist, but let's say the events carry out. If Lloyd didn't exist, then half of the stuff wouldn't happen because, well, actually I can say, these are all the events. All the green ones are all the events that happen because of the letter. All the way down here. Basically, from this point, it's all Lloyd just doing all the fighting. Which, let's say that you avoid Lloyd and say the ninja fought all the fights and won all the fights. That wouldn't change much, because if there wasn't any Lloyd, the Serpentine would never have been free. So that would get rid of all the Serpentine stuff, including the Great Devourer. The 4 ninjas would fight the Overlord, but they'd have no stone army, because no evil Serpentine. So they'd defeat him, it'd go down to here, there'd be no evil Pythor because all the generals would still be there, so he'd be outcommanded, and if Pythor did that shit, the generals are rocking Pythor realistically. The generals... You know what I'm saying? They had to send them to a Ghost Realm. I don't think they're gonna have to send them to the Ghost Realm if the generals are there, because the generals are just more experienced Anachondri. They could just roll the fake Anachondri. So then this wouldn't happen. Saying that the ninja would win everything if Lloyd didn't exist, then that's what would happen. Basically, half the events wouldn't happen. What would happen most likely is they'd go from the skeleton season, they'd have a nice summer break, and then they'd go straight to the Time Blades and probably die. The other way, no Serpentine War. I kind of explained it like there was no Serpentine War, but same thing. Very few events would happen. It would be a very small show. So, like, this is how many seasons there were in OG Ninjago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know, I can count. I'm multi-talented. This is what I personally believe would be what would happen if both events didn't happen. If Lord Chen didn't exist, this would be the timeline. It would be the first episode. About half of the Serpentine stuff would possibly happen. Well, half of the Overlord stuff would happen, because no Serpentine. But the Overlord would exist, and Garmadon would exist, so there would be that stuff. There wouldn't be no stone army or anything. And the first half of the robot season would happen, but Pythor would get whipped into shape, so... Basically, that would be Ninjago if Lord Chen didn't exist. That was my Ninjago slideshow about how Lord Chen's the greatest unintentional villain of all time. You on the input, Dom? You wanna pick up your mic?
Well, what's the name of the character again?
Lord Chan.
Yeah, he looks like Jax.
Thanks for watching, guys. If this video gets 100 likes or subscribers, I will shout out Dom and I'll give them $4 each. I don't have any outro slides, so I'll probably just